Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Monday, September the 14th.
Monday.
Yeah, it's National Cream-Filled Donut Day. Actually, you know, I've had some non-cream-filled donuts that were pretty delicious, too. Big fan of baked donuts. National Eat a Hoagie Day. I could do that. National Live Creative Day. I do that. National Sober Day, Heidi.
What?
Just said. National Virginia Day and National Boss Employee Exchange Day. So today, you pretend to be the boss, and oh wait, you always are the boss.
I'm pretty much always the boss.
Hey, it's also a Movie Star Monday, and my guest today, Alex Winter from Bill and Ted's 3 Face the Music.
I love Alex Winter. He was
really
also
excited.
in
He was
the
in-
non-sparkly vampire
Yeah,
movie.
Lost Boys. Been in other things too. A lot of things. Does a lot of like directing and stuff
Kind of
nowadays.
had a crush on him.
Really?
I thought he was adorable.
He probably was, and he still is, and we're going to
He
chat
was
with him.
definitely, I know this is going to, upset some people, but he was definitely my favorite on Bill and Ted.
Really?
I liked him better.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be chatting with Alex Winter coming up in a bit.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. The new way is with a continuous glucose monitor. You simply apply a discreet, easy-to-use sensor on your body. If you test your blood sugar at least 4 times per day and inject insulin at least 3 times per day or use an insulin pump and have private insurance or Medicare, you might be eligible for a CGM with little or no cost to you. Call now and say goodbye to finger pricks.
800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. A new study found that men who use protein powders or creatine have higher chances of becoming alcoholics when they're older. So they're saying if you're hooked on that now, later you might be hooked on something else. So be careful is all I'm saying. I've got a link to the story if you want to read all about it, or if this is something that needs to be a cautionary tale for someone you know, it's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. If you have a credit card, our friends at BetterCreditCards.com would like to make sure it's the best credit card for you. Take a few minutes to look at your current interest rate and then see what you get for points and perks. Then go to BetterCreditCards.com to see if they can help you find a better credit card. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you save money by getting a better credit card. Even if you don't have a credit card right now, you can check it out too at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com. This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by Time4Rehab.com. We head to Florida for 21-year-old Cole Gatlin, arrested when he crashed his vehicle into a sheriff's patrol unit. It's never a good idea. Traveling eastbound when his car struck the back left side of a marked police car, Dodge Charger. 4:43 a.m. is when all this stuff happened, by the way.
Okay.
Says, displayed visible signs of impairment as he exited his vehicle, arrested at the scene after failing the field sobriety test, provided a lawful breath sample which revealed his blood alcohol level over twice the legal limit, 0.181% and 0.168%, respectively. So he did it twice. He admitted that, he had been consuming alcohol before he got behind the wheel, and he felt the effects when he smashed into the sheriff on the side of the road. 21-year-old's irresponsible behavior will not go unpunished, they say. So, there you go. It's a bad idea. Don't ever drink and drive. Never, ever, ever, ever. Because that is
there are so many other ways to get to where you need to go. There's so many options today. There's no reason.
Don't do this. It's what happens when your brain is on drugs. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. I don't know if anyone listening is going to go, oh, wow, I haven't heard that, because I think this has been on a lot of different things. But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, his entire family had tested positive for coronavirus.
Actually, I hadn't heard that. You hadn't heard
that? That was like a week ago. They made a speedy recovery. The Rock says he and his family got it from close friends. So they had been together, and they got it, and then they passed it on. So that's not good. We just talked to a friend who had to quarantine because they were with somebody who had coronavirus. Right. And then, thank goodness, it turns out that they were fine. They didn't. So it's one of those things where you just be careful out there. And Amber Heard is back in the news. Now she's accusing Johnny Depp of a smear campaign in a new $100 million lawsuit. So
Just walk away from each other and move on.
Some of the stuff that came out of that divorce.
On both sides,
I know,
not just him.
Both insane. I think that...
Yeah,
you guys are just lucky to have found each other in the first place.
You probably should have stayed together.
And then you were lucky to have found a way out of that. I don't know. That's the whole thing is just weird. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
If you take Viagra or Cialis, call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Call 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. Again, that's 800-214-7977.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. According to a study from the University of Massachusetts, it says when we're making small talk with strangers, we tend to lie to one another 3 times every 10 minutes. So just keep in mind when you're talking to them, you're like, oh, yeah, you graduated from Harvard. And, no, not really. Whatever it was. So reasons for lying are many. We tend to lie out of our own insecurities when meeting people. Also, because lying about ourselves is often easier than telling the truth. The old phrase, just being yourself, requires more creative effort than lying because it involves deciding which attributes to emphasize and which to minimize, which impulse to follow and which to ignore. So they say when you're talking to somebody, 10 minutes, there's going to be about 3 little white lies that fall out of your mouth. So, but also out of theirs. So don't believe everything somebody tells you is what I'm getting at. If you thaw your steaks out before you throw them on the grill, you're doing it wrong.
Oh.
I didn't know that. America's Test Kitchen tested frozen steaks versus thawed steaks, and they found cooking steaks that were still a little frozen produced better tasting, less moisture loss, and more even cooking.
I could see that.
So I don't know how...
And especially if you like a more rare steak, which I do.
I don't know how unfrozen or how unthawed. I don't know,
but we're definitely gonna try it that way.
We'll have to do that. We'll have to try it and see. We'll throw the steaks in the freezer before we cook them. But I wonder, because I kind of like to season them ahead of time. Do you do that and then freeze them again? I don't know.
You could throw seasoning on them
while they're still frozen.
Well, not frozen solid. It says slightly frozen.
Well, I don't know. I might have added the slightly. Let's see. I think I said the slightly. I don't know. Either way, in Russia,
that's important.
Is it really
slightly frozen or is it frozen?
Well, if you've been to America's tested frozen steaks versus thawed steaks, and they found cooking steaks frozen produced better taste, less moisture.
Frozen, so solid frozen, so I think I
threw the slightly in there. I don't know. That's where. Anybody? Judges? Anyone want to?
Interesting. We'll try it several ways, and then we will report back. How about that?
All right, it sounds good. Hey, in Russia, people were watching some parachutists land at a parachutist. That's what it says in the story.
Okay,
parachutists, and they were landing at a festival. Well, here's the thing: people parked their cars, and they were blowing bubbles, but they parked them right on the target. One young woman was seen nearly getting taken out by a guy who came in for a landing, and instead of crash landing into a field, he crash landed right into the back of a car. I watched that video here a moment ago. You were trying to figure out what I was doing.
They can't steer those things?
Well, they can. But they were steering for the target.
Land away from the target. Okay, if there's a car on the target.
You land on the target. So they were landing on the target. But
they had to land on the target.
These cars were in the way. And they
apologize. My phone was still on.
I was going to just pretend like we didn't even know that. But anyway, I've got a link to the video if you want to see it. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Nobody wants to buy car insurance. It's not a fun thing to think about, but it's something you need if you want to drive your car. So even if you don't want to buy insurance, you probably have to get it from someone. So why not buy it from InsuranceChicken.com? Okay, I'll admit, our website name is dumb. InsuranceChicken.com. Yeah, our marketing department is not that great. But our selection of insurance options is amazing. See if we can save you money each month on our dumb website, InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com. It's another Movie Star Monday. We're super excited to visit with Mr. Alex Winter. You might know him from The Lost Boys, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and now Bill and Ted's 3, Face the Music. Mr. Winter, how are you doing, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now, this character you've got a chance to play for a long, long time because you started way back in the 80s. What was it like to bring this character back to life after the fans requested it for all these years?
You know, it was a lot of fun. We really like playing these guys. They're very, very enjoyable characters to play, and the writers, Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, always give us a lot to chew on. So this movie has, you don't have to have seen the first two to dig it. It has a lot of really crazy comic situations in it, and the adventure we go on is pretty wild. So it was a ton of fun.
Now, when you look back at first signing up to play this character back in the 1980s, could you have ever had any idea what an impact this would have on people?
No, I mean, I had no idea. We were all very young when we made the first movie. We'd all been acting a while. I started acting professionally at 9 years old, so I'd been in the business a long time by then, but I didn't really have any idea that it was going to have the cultural impact. Neither of us did. Keanu and I will be out together on the street. People go absolutely insane 25 years later. So it's a sweet thing. The characters tend to have the fan base tends to be really, really cool and very positive. So you could have worse things happening to you from fans with movies, but we had no idea.
And we're going to circle back to Bill and Ted's world here in just a bit, but right now let's go to a completely different project. You've been a part of so many different things, but one of our favorite movies in this household is The Lost Boys. My wife just loves that. And what an amazing cast you had a chance to work with on that project.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun. That was Joel Schumacher's movie. He just passed away recently with Kiefer Sutherland and Jason Patrick and Jamie Gertz. And we had a really good time on that movie. It was kind of a hot property at Warner Brothers at the time, and we didn't really have any idea how people were going to respond to that either. It was kind of a strange way out of vampire movie. So it was a big hit and fun to be a part of.
Now, you're known for a lot of projects that did really well and got a lot of exposure. The Bill and Ted franchise, the Lost Boys franchise, all the things that did really, really well. But you've had a chance to be a part of other projects. Are there some projects that you've done? Can you think of maybe even one that you just really wish it would have got a little more traction because it was great, but it just didn't do as well?
Well, I made a movie called Freaked years ago that Keanu's also in, actually, with Randy Quaid. And that was a ton of fun, a lot of makeup effects. A lot of the same people who worked on Bill and Ted worked on that. And in fact, a lot of people who worked on Bill and Ted 3 worked on that movie. And it's hard to find, so you can seek that out. But I feel pretty grateful that most of the stuff I've done has found a good audience. And I make a lot of films now as a director. And, I've been happy with the audience that we gained for those. We just had a movie out on HBO called Showbiz Kids that did very well this summer. I'm happy about that. And we're putting out a doc I've been working on for over 5 years on Frank Zappa at the end of November.
So when Bill and Ted 3 was announced, I believe it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, we were so excited, but then COVID happened. Did that cause any issues?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was an enormous amount of work and thought, and we were faced with two choices: either figure out a way to get it into people's homes and theaters now, or wait at least another year. And we really didn't feel like that was fair to the fan base. The fans were a big part of why we made this movie, and they've been waiting a really long time. We finished shooting this thing over a year ago, so we really didn't feel it was responsible to just say, sorry, you're going to have to wait another full year. And it's a movie that plays really well in theaters, and it also plays really well at home. So people have been able to watch it, on Apple or Amazon or anywhere they get pay TV, and it's been doing really well that way. So we're grateful for that.
And the thing that's nice, it's in theaters as well. And I've got a friend that I thought this was just a really neat thing. He's got a son that's in his teens, and they spent some time leading up to the movie watching the first two. So then his son and his son's friends were all kind of fans of that. Then they all went together and watched it in the theater. And I was like, you know what? Now I kind of feel like I'm 13 again,
That's great. I love to hear that. That's the way to do it.
So, again, the movie is out right now. Bill and Ted Face the Music. Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, and you have a totally excellent day.
Thank you so so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Again, Bill and Ted 3, it's available right now. I've got all the information in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
The old way of living with diabetes is a pain. The new way is with a continuous glucose monitor. You simply apply a discreet, easy-to-use sensor on your body. If you test your blood sugar at least 4 times per day and inject insulin at least 3 times per day or use an insulin pump and have private insurance or Medicare, you might be eligible for a CGM with little or no cost to you. Call now and say goodbye to finger pricks.
800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Study finds that shorter women have shorter pregnancies. I wonder why that is. So taller
Maybe
women have
there's
longer pregnancies?
Not enough room in there?
I had somebody that online, I was reading about it, and they said, well, maybe it's a shorter birth canal. I'm like, I don't know about that. It doesn't say shorter birth, shorter pregnancies. So they're saying shorter women have shorter pregnancies.
Women would have a shorter torso, so there wouldn't be as much room for the baby to grow, which would make it need to come out sooner.
That could be. I don't know.
Would assume.
There you go. For whatever reason. Now we know that is today's fun fact on the John and Heidi Show. If you have a credit card, our friends at bettercreditcards.com would like to make sure it's the best credit card for you. Take a few minutes to look at your current interest rate and then see what you get for points and perks. Then go to bettercreditcards.com to see if they can help you find a better credit card. This will literally cost you nothing, and it could help you save money by getting a better credit card. Even if you don't have a credit card right now, you can check it out too at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com. Now, a news headline from somewhere in this world, Dateline China. This is going to shock you, but intelligence officials now believe that China has the world's largest navy. I would have never thought that. But they're saying the navy in China is the largest navy in the world now.
Huh.
So I never even thought of China's navy. Have you?
No, I knew they had a giant military.
But I never even thought of their navy. So yeah, I guess according to intelligence officials, China now has the world's largest navy. That is today's news headline from somewhere in this world.
If you take Viagra or Cialis, call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Call 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. 800-214-7977. Again, that's 800-214-7977.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. A Tennessee man called 911 over 1,100 times in a 6-week period. His prolific misuse of the emergency dispatch system included the suspect asking police operator, quote, if they wanted to buy egg rolls. Investigators alleged this gentleman, Hu Nguyen, a 54-year-old Memphis resident, began dialing 911 from his cell phone in mid-July. By the time of his arrest, he'd logged almost 1,200 calls. It was 1,171 calls, though he did not have a single emergency. The last one that he called, one day alone, I guess it says, one day alone, he called 911 241 times.
Oh, my goodness.
32 calls the next night, one of which was an order for food, or he was asking if they wanted food. And the dispatcher said, no, please quit calling this number. But he kept calling. He finally was arrested. And now he's... So
was there substances involved in that?
It doesn't say.
Scenario?
I don't know what was going on. He works at a Vietnamese restaurant and an Oriental market. And I don't know if he was just bored.
Trying to sell some food.
I don't know. I have no idea. It's today's weird news.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. A Florida man used payroll protection program loan money to buy a nearly $700,000 boat. 35-year-old Casey Crowther received more than $2 million in federal loan program money set up during the coronavirus pandemic to protect businesses and their employees on behalf of the company. Target Roofing, that's the name of his company, Target Roofing and Sheet Metal. Within days of getting this loan, he wired $689,417 to a company in Sarasota to buy a 40-foot, 220 Invincible catamaran, which he registered in his name. Qualifying businesses were were to use these low-interest loans for business-related reasons, including, and most importantly, to retain employees during tough times, maintain payroll, make mortgage payments. He's charged with making a false statement to a lending institution, could face 30 years, 30 years in federal prison if he's convicted. He was released on a $100,000 bond. He's like, oh, yeah, I can wire that to you.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I don't know if he did that or not. Bad idea, but that is definitely today's moment of da. Nobody wants to buy car insurance. It's not a fun thing to think about, but it's something you need if you want to drive your car. So even if you don't want to buy insurance, you probably have to get it from someone. So why not buy it from InsuranceChicken.com? Okay, I'll admit, our website name is dumb. InsuranceChicken.com. Yeah, our marketing department is not that great. But our selection of insurance options is amazing. See if we can save you money each month on our dumb website, InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com. Time now for Fake News or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it fake news made up to trick you and amuse me? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Fake news or Florida. Police in Key West seized a Cookie Monster doll that contained 300 grams of cocaine. Fake news or Florida?
Florida.
It is a true story.
People do that all the time with dolls and...
Yeah, don't ever do that. It's a bad idea.
It's really sad.
It is.
We live in such a sad time.
Cookie Monster's all strung out now on coke. Now he's the Cookie Monster. It's bad times.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to today's Fake News or Florida on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Jelly Belly Jelly Beans, the owner, the founder of the company, is giving away one of his candy factories as part of a nationwide treasure hunt. Does this sound like anything familiar?
This sounds awfully familiar.
If you think it sounds familiar, no, you just wait. David Klein, founder of Jelly Belly Jelly Beans and Tricky Treasures, is getting ready to retire, but first he's going to give back to everyone who loves the candy industry like he does. Willy Wonka. In a press release, it was revealed that gold tickets, Willy Wonka, are being hidden nationwide for anyone to find. It says, once every state has had a chance to join a treasure hunt, each person who entered one will be eligible to search the ultimate treasure hunt, where they're going to get a key to a candy factory, and he's also going to pay for candy-making classes. Each treasure hunt is valued at $5,000, and cost is $49.99 to enter the hunt. So this isn't free from the sounds of it. Each treasure hunt has a limit of 1,000 participants.
So you're not going to just find a golden ticket just grabbing a
I don't know.
box
It says, with the gold ticket treasure hunt, our goal is to get people out and about with their families. Grandma and grandpas can even join in with the kids and the grandkids. Klein says,
now when they're bedridden for...
That was from the movie, Heidi. Take videos of your treasure hunt experience for possible inclusion in their upcoming series, The Golden Ticket. Guess what the website is?
GoldenTicket.com?
Very close. TheGoldTicket.com. I've got a link to that, the whole story. It actually does sound really cool. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. And guess who's going to sign up right now? No, I'm actually not going to. Because here's the thing. If I were busy running a jelly bean factory, who would do this program every day?
Exactly.
And ladies and gentlemen, I would never do that to you. I would never leave you for a delicious day in a jelly bean factory. Although it does sound kind of fun.
For one day, if you owned it, you owned it.
I know.
You'd have to be there every day.
I wouldn't want to be there all day. I like being here all day. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to The John and Heidi Show.